Turning now to the auto workers' strike and its huge potential impact on America's economy. The union says the walkout could expand this week as negotiations continue today with the country's three biggest automakers. Ford is blaming 600 new layoffs on the strike, which is now in its fourth day at three factories in the Midwest. Kris Van Cleave is at the picket line just outside the Ford plant in Wayne, Michigan. Kris, good morning.
And Marie, good morning. General Motors is also saying it expects to have to idle a plant in Kansas due to the strike. Now, this comes as union negotiations are set to resume later today with Stellantis, that's the parent of Jeep and Chrysler, and comes after the union rejected the company's latest offer.
It is a fight to take on corporate greed.
A weekend of Democratic heavy hitters rallying striking auto workers.
No justice, no peace.
Nearly 13,000 in Michigan, Missouri, and Ohio walked off the job Friday, halting production of popular SUVs like the Ford Bronco and Jeep Wrangler.
Our members are fed up.
United Auto Workers President Shawn Fain says some progress was made when talks resumed with Ford and General Motors this weekend.
We have a lot of work to do. When it comes to wages, when it comes to retirement security.
Do you feel like you're finding some places of agreement?
We're finding common ground on some things, but we still have ways to go.
The union is currently seeking at least a 36% raise, cost of living, and job protections, as well as an unwinding of concessions made during the Great Recession when the companies created a tiered paid scale, starting some employees at under $17 an hour, while others make nearly double for the same work.
The way they're treating the new hires coming in just isn't right.
The union rejected automakers' offers centered around a 20% raise. GM CEO Mary Barra on CBS Mornings Friday.
We're at the table now, ready to keep going and get this resolved as quickly as possible.
At Tony M's in Lansing, Michigan, auto workers account for up to 40% of the restaurant's business. Owner Tamara Farrell worries without a deal, the strike could expand to the auto plant literally down the street.
It's going to be tight, and I think it will affect my employees first. We'll have to cut back on hours so everybody can make it.
A lot of people holding their breath, particularly with the threats of an expanding strike. Now, the people that have walked off the job, Anne Marie, they're going to get $500 a week strike pay. And even though the union is targeting plants that make popular SUVs and trucks, experts say because of existing inventory, it's likely several weeks before consumers will notice a clear impact on dealer lots. Anne Marie?
All right, so consumers that want vehicles will probably be able to get it for a while. But meantime, we can sort of see in your story that there's a very immediate effect when it comes to some of the businesses that depend on these plants, whether they're in the automotive industry or not.
Yeah, we've talked to suppliers that expect there to be impacts to their business. And you talk to auto workers and the businesses that are around auto plants. Auto workers, because they could be told that they're going on strike and walking off the job at any time as these negotiations continue. They're watching their money very closely and making sure that they have savings, because $500 a week doesn't go very far, which means they're likely not eating out as much as they would be, maybe not going to some local businesses the way they were. We've talked to people that have canceled vacations and stopped looking for a house. So it is clearly having an impact, but at the same time, only about 8% or so of the United Auto Workers that work for the big three are currently on strike. So most folks are getting up and going to work today.
You recall when we were facing the possibility of a rail strike here in this country, right? And the Biden administration got involved. There was no strike. And as far as I know, negotiations are probably still ongoing, and the administration is still involved in those negotiations. We have learned that the Biden administration dispatched a couple of aides to head to Detroit to help with this. Margaret Brennan was speaking to Democratic Congresswoman Debbie Dingell on Face the Nation. She didn't think it was a good idea. She didn't think the president should get involved in the negotiations. I'm curious about the people there in Detroit. How do they feel about the Biden administration stepping in?
Well, Maria, it's different than the rail strike, where Congress has the ability to order rail workers back to work. Auto workers don't have that same authority. What we're hearing from people on all sides of this negotiation is that they believe the solutions will come at the negotiating table between the union and the automakers. So far, the people that we have talked to here on the ground weren't aware if those officials were even here in Detroit or what role they would take. And the negotiations quite noticeably continued this weekend without them.
And what's the general feeling among plant workers? It seems like, the two sides are very far apart. There's a possibility that this could be a long haul. You can go 1 month, maybe, but when you get into a second month of not being able to pay your bills, it becomes, you start to have second thoughts. So what are you hearing from people on the picket line now?
Well, the GM strike in 2019 went on for several weeks, so I think people are aware that if there wasn't a deal very quickly, that this could stretch on. I mean, auto workers are concerned. If you go to making $500 a week, that is not a lot of money to feed your family. So we've only talked to one auto worker who who was excited to be on strike. Most of them, are very concerned, but make the argument that it is a necessary step in order to get the kind of deal that they're seeking, which is a substantial raise over the course of a 3 or 4 year agreement, as well as a bunch of other things like inflation protection, getting rid of those pay tiers we talked about in the story. So the strike is their leverage, and I think they know that. So they're prepared to stick it out. But, I don't think you're going to find anyone over there who's excited to be walking this picket line right now instead of being on the job.
Yeah, of course. And in terms of the union strategy here, picking certain plants to focus on, and I mean, it seems like the strategy is working because the thought process was there would be a trickle-down effect. And now we've seen it. We've seen layoffs with at least one plant. As far as we know, in terms of the union strategy, is this going to be the ongoing approach? Maybe one plant each for each company, and then see what the impact might be?
Well, I think that depends a lot on how the negotiations go. If negotiations, because you've got 3 different sets of negotiations. So, it is likely that one automaker might be closer to a deal or might have momentum moving forward that another doesn't. So you could see one specific automaker hit with additional strikes. You could also see additional walkouts at all 3, depending upon how things are going. Striking 3 plants was essentially a warning shot across the bow of the automakers. They targeted plants that make popular and lucrative vehicles, but not the most popular and not the most lucrative. It is certainly not been missed by the automakers that the strike did not happen at the pickup and large SUV plants. The most profitable vehicles these automakers make in many cases are things like the Ford F-150, the best-selling vehicle in the country, the Dodge Ram pickup, the Chevy Silverado, the Yukon, the Tahoe. Those plants are still running, and I think both sides are aware that if they need to, if somebody's going to ratchet up the pain on the automaker's bottom line, that those would be pretty obvious targets.
Right. Kris Van Cleave, thank you very much.